The Lion and the Mouse. In the big, sunny jungle, Leo the lion was taking a nap under a big, shady tree. His snores were like a soft, rumbly thunder. Along came a tiny mouse named Pip. He was scurrying home with a yummy berry and didn't see the big, sleepy lion. Scurry, scurry, right up the lion's tail. Tickle, tickle went Pip's little feet. Achoo! Roared Leo the lion, waking up with a giant sneeze. He looked down and saw tiny Pip trembling on his giant paw. Roar! How dare you wake me up, grumbled Leo. He was the king of the jungle, and he needed his nap. Oh, please, Mr. Lion, squeaked Pip, his little whiskers twitching. Let me go. One day, I promise I can help you. Leo the lion laughed a big, booming laugh. You, help me? You are so small. But he had a kind heart, so he gently put Pip down. Run along, little one. The next day, Leo was chasing a butterfly when, whoosh, a big rope net fell from a tree and trapped him. He wiggled and jiggled, but he was stuck. Roar, he cried. Help me, help me. His big, sad roar echoed through the jungle. Pip the mouse heard the roar and scurried to see what was wrong. He saw his big friend trapped in the net. I can help, he squeaked, and he meant it. Pip climbed onto the net and started to nibble the thick ropes with his sharp little teeth. Nibble, nibble, snap. One rope broke. Nibble, nibble, snap. Another rope broke. Soon, Leo the lion was free. You saved me, roared Leo, giving Pip a gentle nuzzle with his big nose. You are very small, but you are a very big friend. From that day on, the big lion and the tiny mouse were the best of friends, proving that even the littlest friend can be the biggest help of all. The Wonderful Stone Soup. A happy traveler named Finn arrived in a quiet little village. His tummy rumbled like a sleepy bear. Hello? He called out with a big, friendly smile. A baker named Anya peeked from her shop, wiping flour from her hands. Welcome, traveler, she said kindly, but I'm afraid we don't have much food to share today. That's no problem at all, Finn said, his eyes twinkling. I can make the most wonderful soup from a simple stone. All I need is a big pot and some water. Anya was very curious. She brought out her biggest, blackest pot. Finn set it over a fire in the square, filled it with water, and plop, in went the shiny, clean stone. Finn stirred the water with a long wooden spoon. He sniffed the steam. This stone soup is starting to smell good. It would be even better with a sweet carrot. A gardener named Stefan, who was tending his plants nearby, heard him. I have a carrot, he exclaimed, pulling a big orange one from his basket. May I add it to your soup? Of course, said Finn. In went the carrot. Finn tasted the soup. Delicious. But you know what would make it perfect? A fluffy potato. A tailor named Elspeth heard them from her window. I have a potato, she called, holding up a lovely, round one. She hurried over and dropped it into the pot. Soon, everyone in the village was adding something special. Green peas, yellow corn, and tasty onions. The whole village square filled with a wonderful, yummy smell. Everyone sat down and shared the amazing soup. "You did it, Finn," said Anya. "You made delicious soup from a stone." Finn smiled. "The best things are always better when we make them together." The Bremen Town Musicians. An old donkey stood by the barn. He was too tired to carry the heavy sacks of flour. Hee-haw. He sighed sadly. "I know. I will go to the town of Bremen and become a musician." On the path, he met an old dog who was panting in the shade. "I'm too slow to chase sticks anymore," woofed the dog. "Come with me to Bremen," said Donkey. "We can make music together." A little further on, they saw a sleek cat snoozing in a patch of sun. "My paws are too slow to pounce and play," she meowed. "Then join our band," said the dog. "We are going to Bremen." A rooster sat on a fence post, looking glum. "Cock-a-doodle don't," he whispered. "My crow is too quiet to wake anyone up." "Your voice is perfect for our band," meowed the cat. The four new friends walked down the road together. Donkey, dog, cat, and rooster. They were a team, and they were going to be the best musicians in Bremen. As the sun went down, the woods grew dark. The friends were tired and hungry. Then, through the trees, they saw a warm, glowing light. It was a little cottage. They crept to the window. Inside, two greedy scoundrels were eating a giant feast of cakes and pies. "Our tummies are rumbling," whispered the dog to the cat. "I have a plan," Donkey whispered. "Let's give them our first concert." Dog carefully climbed onto Donkey's back. Then, Cat climbed onto Dog's back. Finally, Rooster flew right up to the very top. They stood tall and wobbly, ready to make a very loud noise. "1, 2, 3, sing!" Donkey brayed, Dog barked, Cat meowed, and Rooster crowed. The noise was so loud and strange, the scoundrels saw their big, silly shadow on the wall. "It's a monster," they cried, and ran away into the woods. The four friends went inside the cozy cottage. The yummy feast was all for them. They ate cake and pie until their tummies were full and happy. They loved the little cottage so much, they decided to stay. They never went to Bremen, but they didn't mind. They had found their home, and they made sweet, happy music together every single day.
Pip the Glimmering Firefly. Deep in a meadow of sleepy flowers lived a little firefly named Pip. Pip had the biggest, brightest, most glimmering light of all. "Look at my light," Pip would buzz, zipping and zooming. "It's the best light in the whole wide world." He loved his special glimmer more than anything. One evening, a little firefly named Luna floated near. Her light was a soft, gentle glow. "Your light is so beautiful, Pip," she whispered. "Could you share just a tiny spark with me?" "Share my light?" buzzed Pip. "No, no, no. It's all mine." And he zipped away, leaving Luna all alone in the dark. Soon, a beetle named Burr scuttled by. "Oh dear," said Burr. "I've lost my favorite shiny pebble. It's too dark to see." He looked up at Pip. "Could you shine your wonderful light for me?" But Pip just puffed out his chest. "My light is for zipping and zooming, not for finding pebbles." And he flew high up into the sky, all by himself. Pip looked around. His light was very bright, but he felt very lonely. Zipping and zooming wasn't fun when there was no one to watch. Pip flew back down. He saw Luna, whose little light was flickering sadly. He felt a little wiggle in his heart. "I'm sorry," Pip whispered. He flew to Burr and shone his big light on the ground. "There's your pebble," he chirped. Burr looked up, so happy to see his shiny stone. Soon all the fireflies were playing together, their lights twinkling like a party in the sky. Pip's light was still the brightest, but now he knew his glimmer was best when he shared it with his friends.
The Ugly Duckling. On a sunny pond, in a nest so warm, Mama Duck waited for her eggs to hatch. Peep, peep, went 5 little beaks, and 5 fluffy yellow ducklings popped out. But one egg was much bigger. When it finally cracked open, out tumbled a duckling who was big, gray, and clumsy. He didn't look like the others at all. The yellow ducklings quacked and giggled. "You're so gray and ugly," they teased. The big duckling felt a tear roll down his cheek. No one would play with him. So, with a heavy heart, the lonely duckling swam away from the pond to find a place where he belonged. Cold winter came. The pond turned to ice, and snow covered everything in white. The poor duckling shivered all alone under a frosty bush. Then, the warm spring sun returned. The duckling stretched his wings. They weren't small and clumsy anymore. They were big and strong. He saw 3 beautiful birds with long, graceful necks gliding on the water. They were the most wonderful birds he had ever seen. The beautiful birds swam right up to him. "Hello?" they said in a gentle voice. The young bird was so shy, he looked down into the water. But who was that looking back at him? It wasn't a big, gray, ugly duckling. It was a beautiful swan with feathers as white as snow. He was a swan. He swam off with his new family, his heart full of joy. He had found where he belonged, and he was beautiful all along. The Princess and the Pig. In a sunny, happy kingdom lived a sweet princess named Ileana. She loved to read big books filled with wonderful stories. One morning, a little pig trotted into her garden. He had a shiny golden key hanging from a ribbon around his neck. "Oink," he said, and he looked very sad. Other people saw the pig and said, "Go away, little pig." But Princess Ileana was kind. She saw his sad eyes. She knelt down in the grass. "Hello," she said in a soft voice. "Don't be sad. Would you like to be my friend?" The little pig wiggled his tail. Ileana and the little pig became the best of friends. They played games of hide and seek among the bright flowers. They shared juicy red apples under the big shady tree. With every bite, the little pig would oink and oink with happiness. One evening, Ileana gave her friend a gentle goodnight hug. "You are the best friend in the whole wide world," she whispered. As she hugged him, the golden key around his neck started to shine and glow. Poof! Sparkly golden magic swirled all around. The little pig was gone. Standing there was a prince with a friendly smile. "I am Prince Florian," he said. "Your kindness broke a magic spell." Ileana and Florian were friends forever, and the princess always remembered, it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. A kind heart is what makes a true friend.
The Queen of Frost. Pip and Finn were the best of friends. They loved to play in their sunny garden, where the flowers bloomed in every color. One day, a chilly wind whispered through the warm garden. It carried a tiny, sparkly speck of ice that fluttered and danced in the air. The sparkly speck landed right in Finn's eye. "Ouch," he said. Suddenly, the flowers didn't look so pretty, and the sun didn't feel so warm. "I don't want to play anymore," Finn grumbled. Just then, a beautiful sleigh made of shimmering ice slid into the garden. A lady with a sparkly crown smiled at Finn. "Come for a ride," she said in a voice like tinkling bells. Finn forgot all about Pip and climbed aboard. The sleigh whisked Finn away, leaving Pip all alone. The garden felt quiet and sad. "I have to find my best friend," Pip said bravely. Pip packed a little bag with a cookie and started her journey. She saw a cheerful robin singing on a branch. "Mr. Robin," she asked, "have you seen my friend Finn?" The robin chirped and flew ahead, leading Pip to a cozy little cottage with a puff of smoke coming from the chimney. A kind lady with rosy cheeks opened the door. "The Queen of Frost has taken him," the kind lady said, patting Pip's hand. "Her palace is far, far away, where it is always winter. You are a very brave friend." Pip thanked the lady and walked a long, long way. The ground became white with snow, and the air grew cold. At last, she saw something sparkling in the distance, a palace made of ice. Inside, she found Finn. He was quietly fitting pieces of ice together. He looked right at Pip, but didn't smile. Pip ran to him and gave him the biggest, warmest hug she could. Pip's warm hug melted the tiny speck of ice in Finn's heart. It rolled down his cheek like a little tear. "Pip," he cried, "my best friend." Hand in hand, they ran from the icy room. As they left the palace, the Queen of Frost watched them go from a high window. She wasn't angry, just a little sad. She waved a sparkly hand, and a gentle, warm breeze pushed them softly on their way. The warm breeze helped Pip and Finn through the snow. Soon, they saw the cozy cottage again. The kind lady was waiting. She gave them warm socks and a big piece of cake to share. As they left the cottage, their friend the robin flew down to meet them. He chirped a happy song and flew just ahead, showing them the path out of the snowy woods. With every step they took, the snow around their feet melted away. Tiny green leaves and little flowers popped up from the ground, following their path home. At last, they saw it, their very own sunny garden. They ran the rest of the way home, right into the arms of their parents, who hugged them tighter than tight. Finn looked at the bright red and yellow flowers. "They're so beautiful," he whispered. He and Pip found a special spot and planted a little white flower to remember their adventure. And from that day on, Pip and Finn's friendship was warmer than the sunniest summer day, and their garden was the happiest place in the whole wide world.
Cappy and Magar's berry best friendship. Deep in a sunny land, by a wide, sparkly river, lived a little monkey named Cappy. Cappy's home was a big, tall tree, full of the sweetest, reddest berries you ever did see. In the cool river lived a big, friendly crocodile named Magar. Every day, Magar would swim near the tree and watch Cappy munch on the yummy berries. "Hello, Cappy," he would swish his tail. "Hello, Magar," Cappy would chatter back. One day, Cappy dropped a big red berry down, down, down. Plop! It landed right on Magar's nose. Magar chomped the berry. It was so sweet. "Wow," he gurgled. "That's the best berry in the whole world." From that day on, Cappy and Magar were the best of friends. One morning, Magar was sad. His wife, Priya, was on the other side of the river, and she had never tasted one of Cappy's sweet berries. "I wish I could bring her one," he sighed. Cappy saw his friend was sad. "I have an idea," he chirped. "I can pick the berries, and you can be my big, strong boat." Cappy gathered the biggest, reddest berries into a giant leaf. Then, he carefully climbed onto Magar's long, bumpy back. "Hold on tight," said Magar. Swish, swoosh, splash. Magar swam across the wide, sparkly river. Cappy held on, laughing as the water tickled his toes. They were having an adventure together. On the other side, Priya the crocodile was waiting. "A present for you," said Cappy, holding out the leaf. Priya's eyes sparkled. Priya ate a berry. "It's wonderful," she smiled. Magar, Cappy, and Priya were all so happy. Being friends and sharing made everything much, much sweeter. Finn and Ilsa and the rainbow fish. Finn and Ilsa lived in a little hut by the big blue sea. Finn mended the nets, and Ilsa wove colorful blankets. Most of all, they loved to do things together. One sunny morning, Finn cast his net into the sparkling water. He pulled and pulled. It was heavy. Inside wasn't a normal fish. It was a fish that shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow. "Please let me go," said the fish in a bubbly voice. "I can grant you a wish." Finn was amazed. "A wish is a very big thing," he said. "I must talk to Ilsa. We decide big things together." Finn rode home and told Ilsa all about the magic fish. "Wow," she said. They sat close and talked. "Our hut is a bit small," said Finn. "And I'd love a garden for flowers," said Ilsa. They smiled. They had decided together. Hand in hand, they went to the shore and called, rainbow fish, swimming in the sea. We have a wish for you and me." The fish appeared, its scales sparkling. "We would like a cozy cottage with a garden, please," they said together. Poof! Behind them stood a lovely cottage with a garden full of bright flowers. They laughed and watered the flowers together. After a while, Ilsa thought, "A cottage is nice, but a castle would be better. I want to be a queen," She didn't ask Finn what he wanted. She ran to the shore all by herself. The fish granted her wish. Poof! A giant castle stood on the cliff. But the castle was too big and quiet. Ilsa wore a heavy crown, and Finn sat all alone in a far-off corner, looking very sad. Being a queen wasn't fun without her best friend. Ilsa looked at sad Finn, and her heart felt sad too. She took off her crown. "This isn't right," she said softly. "The best thing was being with you." Together, they went back to the fish. "Thank you," they said. "But we've learned that being together and listening to each other is the best magic of all. Can we please have our little hut back?" And just like that, they were home, happier than ever before.
The Girl with the Golden Hair. Once upon a time, in a land filled with sunshine, lived a baby girl with very special hair. It was as golden as buttercups and as long as a river. Her name was Rapunzel. A selfish lady named Gothel saw the magical hair and wanted it all for herself. Shh! Quietly, she took the baby away to a tall, tall tower with no doors and no stairs. Rapunzel grew and her hair grew with her. It tumbled all the way down to the floor. She loved to sing sweet songs that floated out of her window. Every day, Gothel would visit. She would stand on the ground and shout, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would gather her strong, shiny braid and toss it out of the window. Swish! It would fly through the air. One day, a friendly young man named Flynn was walking in the woods. He heard the most beautiful singing. He followed the sound and found the mysterious tower. Flynn watched as Gothel climbed the hair. "Wow," he thought. When she was gone, he copied her, calling, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel was surprised to see a new friend. Flynn was kind and funny. He told her all about the wonderful world outside, with dancing and bright floating lights. "I want to see the lights," said Rapunzel. So together, they bravely slid all the way down her long hair and ran out into the big wide world. Rapunzel and Flynn had so many fun adventures. They danced and sang and saw the beautiful floating lights up close, living happily and freely ever after. As they explored the kingdom, Rapunzel saw pictures of a golden sun everywhere. "That looks like the flower that made my hair magic," she said. It made her feel warm and happy inside. Flynn took Rapunzel to a big, beautiful castle to meet the king and queen. They had been sad for a very, very long time because they were missing their baby daughter. When the queen saw Rapunzel, her eyes opened wide. She looked at her golden hair and her big green eyes. "Could it be?" she whispered, her heart filled with hope. The king came closer. He saw that Rapunzel looked just like his queen. He smiled the biggest smile he had smiled in years. "Our daughter, you're home," he cheered. It was true. Rapunzel was the lost princess. The whole kingdom celebrated with music, cake, and lots of happy dancing. And so Rapunzel, the girl with the golden hair, lived in the castle with her mommy and daddy and her best friend Flynn. Her heart was full of sunshine, and they all lived happily ever after.